In the vast realms of D&D, opinions clash on countless topics, yet hidden amongst all that noise is one unanimous truth. One undeniable joy which transcends these differences and unites players more than anything else. The thrill of finding a new magic item, which is what we're talking about today. So here are 5 super powerful magic items for D&D 5th edition. Let's start off with the Ring of Shooting Stars. This is a very rare ring with 6 charges that you can use for one of 3 different effects: Fairy Fire, Ball Lightning, and Shooting Stars. I bet you'll never guess what Fairy Fire does.
What does it do?
You can cast Fairy Fire.
Wow!
Meanwhile, Ball Lightning lets you create balls of lightning.
Wow!
You can make up to 4 balls and move them up to 30 feet for your bonus action, and any creature within 5 feet of one of those balls takes damage based upon how many balls you created if they fail a dex save. Long story short, less balls, more damage. 4 balls deals 2d4 damage, 3 balls deals 2d6 damage, 2 balls deals 5d4 damage, or 1 ball deals a whopping 4d12 damage. And let's not forget the last ability, Shooting Stars. As an action, you can expend a charge to send a mote of energy at a location you can see within 60 feet. All creatures within 15 feet of that point take 5d4 damage or half as much on a successful save. But you can expend an additional charge up to 3 to send an additional mote per charge spent. That means you could effectively launch 3 of these mini fireballs for 5d4 damage each, equaling 15d4 damage. This ring is super powerful, specifically because it gives every single class an effective way to utilize their bonus action in combat. And those bonus actions can probably deal more damage than your actual action, which makes this item pretty busted. So if you're looking to round out your combat actions, take a look at the Ring of Shooting Stars. Anyways, moving on to the second item on today's list, we have the Bow of Conflagration. Conflagration. This is a rare bow that lights your arrows ablaze and deals extra damage on a hit. Super simple, but it's a literal bow that shoots fire arrows, and that's pretty freaking cool. It deals an extra d6, which isn't crazy in terms of extra damage, but considering that it's every single attack, it can very quickly add up for some significant extra damage. But these arrows also ignite flammable objects, which take a d6 of fire damage at the start of your turn. What if a creature happens to be wearing an object that just so happens to be flammable, like, I don't know, maybe a t-shirt? Well, that's an extra d6 of damage.
But a d6 isn't a lot of damage.
Well, you're not wrong, but the reason this is so powerful is because in order to extinguish that fire, a creature has to use their action to put it out. So a creature needs to decide if they want to spend their action to attack you or do something else, or put out the fire to prevent taking extra damage. Not to mention, if you do this to multiple creatures, then you're effectively dealing a d6 or 2d6 or 3d6 every round, depending upon how many creatures you lit on fire. And if any of those creatures decide to put out the fire, then they spend their action doing so, meaning that they're not dealing damage to you, which is worth way more than any damage you could potentially deal. Couple that with an extra d6 to every attack you make, and you have yourself a pretty strong early to mid-game ranged weapon. So if you enjoy setting things on fire, then keep your eyes open for the Bow of Conflagration. Conflagration? Moving on to the third item for today, we have the Mistral Mantle. This is a very rare cloak that is, quite honestly, bananas. It grants you resistance to cold damage, and that's nice. It also allows you to once per day cast the 3rd level spell Sleet Storm with a DC of 14. Not only that, but it's kind of an improved version of Sleet Storm because it specifically states that you're immune to the obscurement and difficult terrain that it creates. And while those 2 effects are pretty cool, the 3rd effect is where this item goes from being cool to bananas. Whenever you move within 5 feet of a creature, you can force it to make a dexterity saving throw or take 1d6 cold damage and fall prone. Now, that might not sound very amazing, but it really, really is. You can cause this to happen for free to every creature you move within 5 feet of. And this isn't restricted to once per day, this is literally every single round of combat whenever you move. You can use this on any class, but can you imagine this on something like a rogue? You could bonus action disengage, run next to every enemy, knocking them all prone, and then get advantage for your sneak attack on your main action, all in one turn. And then in your next turn, you can just do it all over again. It's actually crazy how powerful this item can be, considering how lackluster it sounds initially. So if that sounds interesting to you, then you should probably go have a chat with your DM about the Mistral Mantle. Now for the fourth item on today's list, we move back into the weapons category with the Sunforger. This is a rare warhammer that grants +2 to attack and damage rolls alongside another awesome effect. Once per day, you can throw the hammer anywhere within 120 feet, and then it explodes upon impact, dealing 66 fire damage to all creatures within 20 feet on a failed save. Flat out, the Sunforger just gives any class that can wield it a fireball. Sure, the damage isn't exactly the same, but it's close enough where it can be super effective on other classes. Normally, martial classes don't get much in the way of large area of effect abilities, which can make fighting large groups of enemies kind of tedious for them. But by giving them something like the Sunforger, you effectively take that weakness and throw it out the window because, guess what? The Barbarian casts Fireball. The one problem with this item is that once you use this ability, you have to use an action to recall it to your hand. But that's not really too big of an issue because, let's be honest, what kind of fighter or barbarian doesn't have multiple weapons? So if you've ever wanted to do cosplay as Thor in your D&D campaign, then take a look at the Sunforger because it can help you do that. And now for the fifth and final item on today's list, we have the Ring of Amity. When you attune with this ring, you can create a magical bond with a creature of your choice. While bonded, whenever you are affected by an effect that restores your hit points, the bonded creature also receives the benefits. Now, I don't think I need to tell you how strong this item is, but humor me for a second. If I cast, let's say Healing Word, on a creature wearing this ring, then that creature and the bonded creature both heal for the full amount. This is effectively like casting 2 burst level spells all for a single bonus action. But maybe you're not convinced yet. This ring's value goes up exponentially when you cast higher level spells. For the sake of the argument, let's say you cast the 6th level spell Heal. Then not only your target, but also the bonded creature heal for 70 hit points each. That is an automatic 140 hit points restored for a single action. And that's pretty freaking crazy. Technically, you can even use this on abilities that restore hit points and remove status effects like a Paladin's Lay on Hands ability. And the ring even works for potions as well. But that's not even all there is to it. Once per day, whenever the bonded creature makes an attack roll, you can use your reaction and just make it a critical hit. And I really hope I don't need to explain why guaranteed critical hits are so powerful. So considering the ring can duplicate spell effects as well as guaranteed critical hits, I think it wins the award for the most broken item on today's list. But that's all for today. If you're interested in other magic items, I have linked the playlist in the corners or the description below for you to check out. Also, if you have any favorite magic items that I didn't mention, leave a comment below and let me know. I read every comment, almost always reply, and who knows, I might even feature your comment in the next video. Thank you very much for watching, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you on Friday.